Hello there, my fellow ghouls and goblins. Welcome back to From the Archive. As always, I am your host, Baron Bones. And today we look at the Shudder original, The Cellar. The Cellar was directed by Brandon Muldaney and was released back in 2022 on Shudder, a streaming service meant for everything horror, which you would think would make it right up my alley. Unfortunately, I don't actually like Shudder, as most of the movies on there are mundane crap. There are a few gems, but nothing that really strikes my fancy. What about The Cellar? Well, let's dive into the story and you'll see what I mean. The Cellar follows a family of four as they enter a new house that they bought. This new house they bought is an old-style house that is clearly creepy and is more than likely haunted. The only person who is put off by this is the eldest daughter, played by Abby Fitz. She ends up spending the night alone in the house as the parents decide to take the first night in this house that they bought, that's creepy as all hell, and go on a business meeting. This leads to the daughter disappearing, as you could have guessed, or anyone could have guessed. This leads to the mother, played by Alicia Cuthbert, to try to figure out and investigate what could have happened to her daughter in the creepy cellar, in the creepy house that is clearly haunted and has a backstory that is clearly going to involve death. Why is every character in movies like this stupid? The story here is a dime a dozen haunted house movies. We have a house, it's creepy, there's obviously something going on, and there's obviously something haunting the house. Now, what's haunting the house is always different, but the film still follows the standard beats. There's nothing to set it apart. The story is pretty simple, mundane, and it really isn't worth following all that much. The characters don't help this, as they are all one-note idiots. None of them make smart decisions, and none of them feel developed, especially the father and son, who should be worried about the eldest daughter being missing, but they really don't seem to care. Now, mind you, they think she just ran away, but I would still like them to seem worried a little bit. Now, the performers are all doing a good job. Alicia Cuthbert is doing everything she can to give this film life. Too bad she's given not much to work with. Now, the set design is also really good, but again, it leads me to wonder how no one in this family bought this house was going to be haunted when they bought it. Ay, ay, ay. The music is also quite creepy and really well done and belongs in a better movie. The Cellar is very much your standard haunted house movie. Characters show up, characters get scared and hunted by some weird mythical being that's probably an ancient evil, and someone gets disappeared, kidnapped by the ancient evil, leads to one of the parents becoming worried, and that's pretty much your standard horror movie plot there for you folks. This movie does nothing to set itself apart. That being said, it's not terrible. It is standard, but there is an audience for standard movies like this. If you like haunted house movies, you'll like this movie a whole lot. Me, I like a haunted house movie. I didn't enjoy watching the film. I just found it very predictable, and not something I would watch a number of times, as I would get bored rather quickly. And to be honest, that is the opinion I have on most of Shudder's films. They are all pretty standard, and none of them are films that I will keep going back to. So that is why I'm not a big fan of the service. There is too much of a good thing here I love horror movies, but I don't need a streaming service donated to just them. Anyway, that's what I thought about The Cellar and Shudder in general. If you have a different opinion, well, you could comment on this fool's channel. You could also like and subscribe it, as he continuously tells me I need to encourage people to do that. Though I really, really don't care. Anyway, next week we take a look at another classic, Child's Play. And as always, be terrified.